Texas continues to fight back against a bad agenda and big tech surveillance. The state's attorney general, Ken Paxton, now suing Facebook for hundreds of billions of dollars. He's accusing the social media giant of violating users' privacy by harvesting information from photos and videos using facial recognition technology, with the customers unaware. Joining me right now is the Texas Attorney General himself, Ken Paxton. AG Paxton, great to see you. Thanks very much for being here, and you are really working hard, fighting against a lot of ills. What is this suit about? Tell us how they used facial recognition technology.
So in Texas, we have laws related to capture and use of bioidentifiers like facial recognition and your geometry of your face. And in this case, they have captured, we believe, millions of Texans' faces, and they're required by law to disclose that they're doing it and then get your consent. And then they have no ability after that to transfer it to other people or other parties without your consent. They did that as well. We're talking about 20 million Texans on Facebook. I don't know how many on Instagram. And they're even stealing the faces of people that aren't on Facebook that happen to have their faces posted somewhere on Facebook.
So what can they do with this information? People didn't know that they were using this biometric technology?
No, they never disclosed it. They actually implied or told us that they weren't using facial geometry or capturing your face. And the reality was they've been doing it for well over a decade and without our knowledge, and actually misleading consumers and the state of Texas that they were actually capturing this information.
So tell us what the impact is. I mean, what did Texans face as a result of this? Tell us how you can explain the damages that you're seeking.
Yeah, so there's specific statutory damages for a deceptive trade practice, up to $10,000 per violation, and then $25,000 for actually capturing someone's biometric identifier, whether that's face, fingerprints, or anything without their knowledge, because this is all personal information. And this is information you can't change. Well, I mean, it's not like you can go get a new Social Security number or a new driver's license. This is your personal information. And once it's out, once they've shared it, once they've disclosed it, the genie's out of the bottle. You can't get it back. So that's damaging to you as an individual when you have not known about it. You didn't consent to it as required by law. And now it's been used by Facebook to make more money as they share it with other people without your knowledge or your consent.
So what is the timeline on this? Who hears this case, and when would you expect this to, how does this play out in the coming years? What's the timeline?
Yeah, I think in state court it moves relatively quickly. We filed this in East Texas in a state district court. I wouldn't be surprised if we are in trial within a year or so and in front of a jury explaining to the fellow Texans exactly what happened with Facebook.
Okay, let me switch gears. Ken, ask you about the illegal migrant crossings. You have been out front in trying to stop the lawlessness at the border, but the numbers are exploding, particularly in the Del Rio sector. A Customs and Border Protection source telling Fox that there have been more than 35,000 encounters just in the last 30 days. That's up 200% from January 2021. And we know, of course, AG Paxton, that 2 million people were apprehended in the last year. The gotaways, we guess, are at 650,000. What's the status of the border right now?
You know, it just gets worse and worse. There's no doubt that the Biden administration has a plan here to bring as many illegals here, no matter what their background. It doesn't matter. They're not vetted for terrorism. They're not vetted for crimes. They're not vetted for having COVID. It doesn't matter what their background. They're welcome here, according to the Biden administration, in clear violation of federal law. They're supposed to be deported. And yet we're in 9 lawsuits right now with this administration. They're slow playing every time we get a good order from a federal court, which is every case that we've had so far. They slow play it, make us go back to court to enforce it. So they disregard not only federal law, not only disregard the Constitution, but they're disregarding court orders.
Well, I mean, when I was with you a couple of weeks ago at the border, when you gathered 12 other AGs and you showed the attorneys general what was going on at the border, Patrick Morrisey, the AG of West Virginia, said he wants to see Mayorkas step down. He said that it is a dereliction of duty and that he should not be in the job. We haven't seen any movement in terms of Secretary Mayorkas. How come there's no accountability to what we're seeing?
I think, unlike you, much of the media ignores this story and ignores the devastating consequences to this country. And we know we're getting that. We know that more people have died because of COVID and the transmission of COVID because they've spread this around the country. We know that 30% more people have died from overdoses because the border is not secure as it relates to the importation of fentanyl and other drugs. We know that other crimes, we know that police officers have been killed and other people have been killed. And yet the Biden administration is not held accountable. They should be. And I think ultimately they will be. I don't think they will get away with this forever. At some point, there's going to be an accountability in court for Mayorkas and for the rest of this administration for what they are doing to the American people.
Well, I mean, the fentanyl is such an enormous story. And as I've mentioned, I have not heard Joe Biden mention the word fentanyl at all in his first year in office. In Arizona, agents arrested a Mexican national trying to smuggle in $85,000 worth of fentanyl pills over the weekend. This is, you can see it in this picture. The CBP reporting a 1,000% increase in fentanyl seized at 8 southern Texas border ports in the last fiscal year. AJ, look, fentanyl, I believe, has become the biggest killer of 18 to 45-year-olds in the last year. More than cancer, more than heart disease, more than car wrecks, it's fentanyl. And it's getting through the ports and our borders. So how come nothing's being done about it? It's killing our people.
You know, that is such a great question. And it's very sad that the President of the United States and Mayorkas know exactly what they're allowing. Because when these border agents spend all of their time on logistics, processing these people to come into our country, there's nobody there to stop the importation of fentanyl. And the cartels know it. The Biden administration knowingly basically aids and abets these cartels and the transmission from China. And they know that lots of people are dying because of it. They're willing to make that trade. It's clear to me that they are willing to make the trade, American lives, for more illegal immigration, for whatever benefit they see from that illegal immigration.
All right, we will leave it there. Do you think this is resonating on the people? I know the primaries are right around the corner. Early voting has begun. Do you think people understand these issues that you have been fighting for?
Yeah, I do think that the border, I know for Texans, this is the #1 issue. Every candidate has done their polling. They know that this is a fundamentally important issue to Texas and the rest of the country.
AG Paxton, it's great to see you. Thanks so much. Ken Paxton joining us this morning.